Moment and look to the person on your left and your right and tell them that they're awesome. Awesome. Awesome people out there. Great job. All right, well, we've got Miss Monica Brown is our next speaker. As a 26-year financial professional, learning how to navigate the financial journey of caretaking wasn't something that I learned, that she learned. She had knowledge to help her, but it wasn't easy. She went through challenges that caretakers don't consider. As the founder of Assuring Solutions Financial Group, she provides knowledge and financial solutions to assist care providers and their families navigate the financial needs of caregiving. You cannot predict, but you can prepare and protect. So please join me in welcoming Ms. Monica Brown.
Thank you so much. Well, hello, everyone. It is an absolute pleasure to be with you today and to share my experiences, to have a conversation with you. So as she said, I'm Monica Brown, and for our time together, we're going to have a conversation. So sometimes as caretakers, or let me ask you this, as caretakers, have you ever heard anybody talk at you? They just talk at you, don't they? And then they kind of talk around you, over you, on the other side of you. But do they have a conversation with you? Well, who are the caretakers or facing caretaking, have experienced caretaking here? Who? Show me that. Okay, there you are. It's impeding, or you know it might be coming down the road. Any of you here? It's coming up, and I need to know some information about it. Okay, all right. So this will be a good conversation because we're going to talk about caretaking. But guess what? As she already stated, I'm in the caretaking journey as well. Now, there's a couple of ways we can do this, okay? So I can share my caretaking journey with you, some of the things that I've gone through, some of the challenges and all that kind of stuff. But I've got to have a really vulnerable moment with you first, okay? When I thought about sharing my actual journey, because of where I am on that journey, I just begin to well up with emotion and tears and all types of thoughts. Has anybody ever gone through that as you go through this journey? Have you ever looked at your situation and go, why me? No? Not yet. Because you know what? You have different emotions along this journey. And so what I thought I'd do is kind of walk you through some of the insights that I had while I was on the journey and kind of connect the dots for you, some of the things that you may or may not thought of, especially for me. First and foremost, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, okay? I have 2 adult children of my own. That factors into my decision around caretaking. The fact that I have 2 adult children of my own. It makes me think about caretaking. And guess what else it does for my children? My children watch me as a caretaker. So it impacts them in a way that it may not impact me. As a caretaker, I caretake for my mother. So that impacts me in a way that it may impact them because it's their grandmother. But they're watching their mother take care of her mother. And so there's a lot of different emotions that go there because guess what? While I'm taking care of my mother, guess what I think about least? Being their mother. But do you know they never stop thinking about me being their mother? Because for them, I'm always their mother. And for me, she's always my mother. And when it comes to your parents, sometimes there's just nothing we would not do for our parents. The level of sacrifice for our parents is beyond what some people could imagine. Would you agree with that? All right. So not only was I the caretaker for my mother, let me give you a background on who my mother was to me. to me, as I watched my mother growing up as a little girl, she was the most impressionable woman, strong in stature. When my mom walked into a room, people paid attention to her. And I admired that of her. I thought it was so admirable, and I was so excited to be her daughter, just because of the way people responded to her. Not only that, she was a preacher's wife and the daughter of a preacher. So I come from a lineage of preachers. So think about all those things. So guess what? She was a PK, so I'm a PK. So I watched my mother in her journey of her life, and I was so impressed by her. Here's the thing about that, though. Imagine the emotion I must feel watching a robust life full of personality reduced to someone I hardly know. Can anyone relate to that? The emotion that comes along with that is something that only us as caretakers can relate to. Would you agree? And sometimes when we try to communicate those emotions, do you feel it well up? I think I almost just felt it well up just now. When I started thinking about who my mother was, it began to well up in me, the emotion associated with our current journey. Here's the other thing. Me, where do I come from? What's my background? College, financial career, and then I became a caretaker. I have the love that goes as high as the highest mountain for my mother, as well as deep as the deepest ocean. But do you know what I could not do? As an educated woman and a mother of 2 children who put her kids through college after a divorce. I have an ABC News producer, my daughter. She works for ABC News. I have a professional basketball player. He plays ball in Portugal. But do you know what I could not do? I could not change this journey for us. Me and my mother, we had to go through it. But guess what else? With all of that education, with all the experience that I had in my own life raising my own children, can you imagine how much experience I had in raising my children after divorce as a single mom? Can you imagine all the challenges that I went through? Can you imagine what it means to be a 26-year career financial professional? And then you're faced with caretaking. And guess what happened? I did not know what to do. By now, you've probably figured out my level of personality. Do you think I've ever been comfortable with not knowing what to do? Do you think me, have I ever been comfortable with not knowing what to do? Can you imagine me not being comfortable taking care of this robust personality in my life that I love as high as the highest mountain and deep as the deepest ocean? Here's what I figured out. Love was not going to do it. I had to have knowledge and I had to have resources. Oh, but wait. I got one more thing to tell you guys. Ooh-wee, this one might land on somebody. I never imagined that I would do this alone. Alone. My mother was one of 12. A host of nieces, nephews, cousins, and everybody. How in the world did I wind up navigating this journey alone. Who can relate to that? How in the world did you wind up navigating this journey alone? Oh, but wait, as you're navigating the journey alone, imagine looking out on the caretaking journey, because this is what happened to me. Imagine it being a desert. And when you look out at a desert, what do you see? Sand. Do you know it's sand? Right. So I knew I had to face the caretaker journey. I knew I had to do it, but I didn't know what to do. It's like looking at sand, knowing it's sand, but not knowing what to do. That's what I was faced with. So you said, why am I telling you all of this? I think it's very important because, again, remember when I first started, I said, we're going to talk together. I'm going to relate to you today. I'm a caretaker. You're a caretaker. I'm not going to talk at you, around you, through you. I'm going to talk with you today. But we're going to talk in a different way, because here's what we're not going to do today. I felt that emotion welling up, y'all. I got through it. Because here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to cry, okay? Is that all right? Can I not cry today? But guess what? It's okay to cry. Is it okay to cry? It's okay to experience those emotions. I just don't want to cry on y'all today because I got Wizzy out. Wizzy is my hair. This is Wizzy. And I want to stay halfway looking cute. At least look like this picture that's rolling around up here of me, okay? And I think they videoing and stuff like that, so y'all know I can't be crying on the video today. But it's okay, right? It's okay to cry. So the reason why I walked you through those things is because before I can really tell you anything, I really need to tell you about my thing. So do you have a little bit of an understanding of my thing, who I am as it relates to the caretaker journey? All right. And because I really wanted to set the playing field for you. So if you feel alone, also I'm from Virginia, so sometimes my swing, it kind of twangs out here. So if you hear the twang, that's from Virginia. I'm from Roanoke, Virginia. I've lived in Georgia for 15 years by way of Charlotte. I came here to continue my financial professional career. I retired from banking, wound up being a caretaker. I started a business, the Fund Yourself Movement, which is a table right over there to help caretakers like yourself navigate the financial journey. Okay? All right. So if you feel alone, I understand. If sometimes you feel angry, I have been there. I still am. Say, why am I angry? Because my mother was taken away from me. Oh, but wait, is my mother alive? Absolutely, she is. But she was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And as a result, it has caused her to be someone that I don't recognize. So, has she been taken away from me? In my world, absolutely she has. I miss her so very much. So if you have those feelings and you're caring for people that you miss, but they're sitting right in front of you, I get it. I absolutely get it. Also, if you feel like you can love your loved one to the highest mountain and to the deepest ocean, and that's all you need to care for them, I feel you. I felt that way too. If you cry often, welcome to the club. That was that Virginia swang there. If you feel like you should not be doing this with your life, I understand. All of those are valid feelings. Is it okay for us to have emotions? Yes? Is it okay for us to think about the journey that we're about to face and not really want to face it? Is that okay? Can we be honest with ourselves as caretakers? Because I'm going to talk to you as a caretaker. I've already told you about who I caretake for, okay? But now we're going to move on because we're going to talk about you. This is about you as a caretaker. All right? So you got it, right? I set the stage for you, right? So what is my purpose today? At this point where I am on my journey, when I talk about my stories as it relates to how I got here, I experience some trauma. Is it okay for me to be real? Because here's one of the things that I know about the caretaker journey. A lot of times when on the caretaker journey, most people will ask you about the person that you're caring for. How they doing? How's it going? What's going on with them? And you get caught up in talking about the person you're caring for. Has anyone ever asked you, how are you doing? What can I help you with? How can I serve you? Has that ever happened? If it hasn't, it's okay. Because I want to talk to you, the caretaker, today. So, here's the question. Caretakers, what must we do? Here's the message for you today. What must you do as a caretaker as you navigate this journey? Are you ready? If you're ready, tell me you're ready. Ready. Caretaker, what must you do? Here you go. You must put your oxygen mask on first. You must put your oxygen mask on first. All right, where does that come from? I know y'all heard it before. Has anybody ever taken a flight? Been flying? All right, so we got some travelers in here. All right, so here we go. You know when they're doing that message, when the whole little safety spiel, blah, 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 blah on the airplane, right? So what does the person say? If something goes down with this plane, some oxygen masks are going to drop. And what do they tell you to do? Whoa, I didn't hear you. I still can't hear you. Exactly. Caretakers, put your oxygen mask on first. I give you permission to do it today. Why? Because I'm a caretaker and I have been through some challenges. I have some stories to tell you. Oh, wow, I done got up out my seat. Did y'all see that? Whew. I told y'all I'm a preacher's kid, okay? Look at that. Let me go sit back down. Hold on. I felt something there, okay? So here's the thing. I can't sit down. I'm going to give you permission today. You have the permission of another caretaker that you do not have to experience guilt. You do not have to feel like you're not taking care of your loved one and you don't love them to the highest and to the deepest. You still love them. But let me tell you what you cannot do. You cannot care for anyone if you don't care for you. Now, did I tell you in the beginning that I love my mama? Did I tell you in the beginning that growing up I was in awe of her? And guess what? None of it changed. Because the greatest thing that you can do for the loved one that you care for is love you. Because if they lose you, who's going to care for them? That is why you must put your oxygen mask on first. Now, by process of elimination, we're not going to make this morbid, but here's the deal. If you don't put your oxygen mask on first, what happens? Caretakers, let me tell you about caretakers. Caretakers are givers. That's what I know about caretakers. If you are a caretaker, I would dare say that before you actually became a caretaker, you were a giver all your life. I remember the day I moved my mother out of her apartment. I had to get someone to help me take her to a hotel. You want to know why? Because mama wasn't going nowhere. That's what she said. She had just enough wherewithal to refuse me, the oldest child. She had just enough wherewithal to tell me she wasn't going anywhere. So I had to come up with some trickery. We had to go on a field trip. I certainly did hate to do it, but the fact of the matter is, I had to get it done. So I said, Mom, we're going to go on a field trip. Got some Chipotle, sat her down in a hotel, moved everything out of the apartment. Now, her baby sister didn't like what I did, but that's okay. This is my mama. So I had to do the things that I needed to do to take care of my mama. I remember that day when everything was being moved out. By the way, y'all, you are not going to believe this. I know you're not going to believe this. Do you want to know who packed up her apartment? Me. If I look back on it, I have no idea how I did it. I have no idea how I packed up the apartment. When I tell you my mother was a classy lady in the way she dressed and she loved to shop, once I got to going through her closet, I found so many things in her closet, things that brought back so many memories. Do you know how many times I sat down in a corner and cried, unpacking her apartment? Cried because this was happening to us. Mom, this is happening to us. Mom, why couldn't it be different? Mom, why didn't you do something different? What could I have done different? Do you know how long it took me to unpack that apartment or pack that apartment? It seemed like forever. Alone. By myself. But what drove me? The love I have for my mother, right? But here's the deal. The day that I realized this was all going down, I wound up sitting on a sidewalk at a storage facility because at that point, I could not give my mom's stuff away. I just couldn't do it. So undoubtedly, I don't know how to do this from a caretaker standpoint, right? I'm just going to pay for storage. Look back on that now, that wasn't a good idea because I probably needed that money. But the fact of the matter is, I was still emotionally tied to the things that she was tied to. So I said, well, certainly, watch this, certainly my mom wouldn't want me to sell her stuff. So me being the great daughter that I am, I put the stuff in storage and held on to it. Because maybe somewhere in the back of my mind, I thought that I was going to Virginia to pick up my mother to bring her to Georgia because guess what I was going to do? I know y'all know what I was going to do, right? Come on, tell me what I was going to do, y'all. I was going to make my mama better. Because the problem wasn't that she was in the situation. The problem was I wasn't there. And so, of course, if I insert myself into this situation and just bring her down to Georgia with me, we're going to live happily ever after. Right? Wrong. Because undoubtedly, I'm still loving to the highest of high and to the depths of depths. And all I got to do is just get my mama down here to the best doctors over at Emory. Because you know, in Virginia, where I'm from, little Roanoke, Virginia, in the Blue Ridge Mountains down in the valley, they call it the Roanoke Valley. You know, they don't have no good doctors. So I figure if I get her down here to Emory University, the brain center, I know that they'll fix her. They'll fix her. They can get her fixed. Right? Because I did not acknowledge what was happening. So I delayed what was happening because I did not acknowledge what was happening. So guess what that did for me mentally? Anybody? It diminished my own mental health because I was not facing the reality of what we were going through at that given time. Oh, don't forget, I was doing this alone. Because at that point, I didn't realize what I needed. But I'm going to tell you what you need in a minute. So where are we right now? Everybody is putting what on? Oxygen mask. You got your oxygen mask on, right? All right, here we go. Since you got your oxygen mask on. So here we go. As caretakers, we must prioritize our mental health, our future, our family, as well as our loved ones' care. Now, how in the world do you do that? So let me say that again. As caretakers, we must, because see, I'm a caretaker, so I get to tell y'all this, right? Because I gave you my background, right? Nobody's talking around you, through you, under you, beside you. I'm talking with you and right at you. As caretakers, you must prioritize your mental health. If nobody said this to you, prioritize your future. All right, here we go. I'm a mother of 2 children, right? My children watch me take care of my mother. But do you know what my children also watched happen? You ready? Their future. They were watching their future because guess who is their future? Me. So what was the emotion that they were feeling when they watched me care for my mother as their future? But if you don't realize that, you will think that you can do this yourself because you're not finding the balance in your future. Matter of fact, you might even feel guilty about your own future. Like, no, I got to sacrifice my future for my loved one. I can't think about my future because I got to take care of them. So that's what we begin to think. All right. Now, prioritize our own families. Because let me ask you this. At least I know from my mother, the way that she lived life and how robust she was. Oh, let me sit down because I'm moving and they probably need to Zoom me. All right. That's passion, y'all. That's passion. I couldn't sit down no more, but I'm going to sit down. If I were able to have a conversation with my mother, notice I said if I was able to have a conversation with my mother, I believe that in her robust zeal and zest for life, she would look at me and see herself in me. As a matter of fact, if she could communicate with me and see my hair alone, we would have, I know, 2 hours worth of conversation just about my hair. And you know what I would say? Thank you, Mama. Thank you for my hair, because I got it from her. And you know what she would say? I want mine like that. Can you do mine like that? When I cut my hair off, she said, I want mine cut like that. Can you cut mine like that? No, Mama, I'm not going to cut your hair like this. Why not? Because, Mama, you really don't want your hair cut like this. You never wore your hair short. You always wore your hair long. Matter of fact, how in the world am I going to take care of my mama's hair if it's short? I need a ponytail because I need to be done with that part of the day. I need to be able to pull it back in the ponytail and keep going because we got breakfast to do. We ain't got time to be doing no hair and making it cute. Mama, sorry, hair can't be cute no more. Hair just got to be because I got to keep my hair cute. Because it's okay to take care of yourself. Come on now. All right. So look. I know if I were to have those conversations, it would be fun and engaging. So here's what I know. The very thing that I'm saying to you as a caretaker, I absolutely, truly believe my mother would tell me that the balance of life is important, and she would want her great-grandchildren to be fulfilled and thriving as a result of their grandmama or nana. Or me, Ma. I haven't figured out what I'm going to call myself yet. But the way I know my mother would want me thriving with my own children. So therefore, I have to find the balance in caretaking. Is this helping anybody? I look at me. I done stood up again. I'm sorry. All right. Here we go. So how do you put your oxygen mask on first? How much time I got? Okay, how do you put your oxygen mask on first? Here we go. Take advantage of resources and create a team of help to support your life. What is your life? Your life is the balance of care. You and your loved one, your own family, your grandchildren. You don't have to feel guilty about living your life and thriving. So if you're feeling any of that, of course, I can't tell you to get rid of it, but there are resources to help you with your mental health, to give you permission to be able to do it. It is okay to cry, but you don't want to cry all the time. There is life to be lived. And we want to put resources in place to help you live. This is one of the resources to put in place to help you live. So with Michelle standing right back there, what a great opportunity. Let's give Michelle a hand for doing this. What a great opportunity that she has a heart to bring the resources to us as caretakers. Because I told you about that desert, right? When I started on this journey, I'm telling you, all I saw was sand. And when I started connecting with resources and realized how it was alleviating some of the things, and guess what? People who are already in this caretaker field, do you know they know what they're doing? They actually know what they're doing. And as they begin to put these resources in place for you, you can start living a more balanced life. All right? So take advantage of the resources. Here's another thing. In order for those you care for to get the best, you must be the best you. Guys, does it look like I got through it, guys? Does it look like I made it? I don't got no socks on today, but does it look like I made it, y'all? In order for me, in order for she, in order for my mama to be the best and for me to represent her accordingly, I must be the best me. That's what I must be. And let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to represent my mama right. So I'm going to be the best me. So when anybody talks about Pauline Macy Brown's daughter, Monica Brown, they know that I'm representing my mama. But do you know what? I can't do that if I do not prioritize me. I must put my oxygen mask on first because my mama would want me to. Because I want to save my mama. If my mama is sitting next to me and we're on an airplane, they told me to put my oxygen mask on first. Wait a minute, mama. Let me put my oxygen mask on so I can help you, mama. Wait a minute. That's my story. Who is it that you need to put your oxygen mask on for so you can be the best you, so they can be the best them? Because they can't be the best them without you being the best you. You can't make them the best them and then ignore you. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. I tried it. It is not going to work. You cannot simplify everything as it relates to you and deny yourself in order to create a certain lifestyle for them. It won't work. Already done it. Been there, tried it, bought the t-shirt, and I'm not wearing it because I realize it don't work. All right. Here's the thing. It's taken me a long time to understand the things that I'm talking to you all about. And I really feel like I went through those things. I'm just a giver like that, okay? I actually feel like I went through things so you don't have to. Because I'm a giver. Most caretakers are. So I don't mind giving you this information to save you some of the pitfalls and challenges that I already went through. Those sleepless nights when you didn't even get enough, you can't even figure out if you ate today. I don't even remember if I ate today, okay? Here's one more thing I have to ask you before I go. My children have been the greatest lesson that I ever learned. I want to impress upon you, do not put yourself through an unlikely journey. But I want to also ask you this before I go. If you became the person that need care for, and you needed to be cared for, what would that look like? Who's going to take care of you? What's your quality of life as it relates to being cared for, and who's going to do it? That is the stage that we are setting as caretakers. That's why you have to tap in on the resources now so that you can set the stage. And to be quite honest, going through this, navigating this, I was able to create the Fund Yourself movement as it relates to everything I went through. 26-year career marries caretaking, called Fund Yourself movement, because you can fund yourself and you can put your oxygen mask on first. It is okay. Thank you, guys.